Hello and welcome in. I'm Professor Bohdi, aka Mr. Bonny John. Thank you so much, Chill Bill and JC, for being our first stream team inbound. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. But before we get to our weekend, we're going to work on some XOTEMPO. So over the last few days, we've been working on a lot of the catch-all kind of stuff before getting into the creature designs, of which I completed nearly 111 designs, many of which were scrapped, moved, pushed into new evolutionary lines, this, that, and the other. And there's going to be a lot more of that happening in this summer of XOTEMPO, of which I'm going to be spending about maybe 3 streams a week, figuring out the direction of a pitch Bible, because I'm not really sure what exactly will come of this, but it's going to be something. All right, be it an anime, a game, a both, a board game, card game, something's going to happen. There's too much love and development in this to not let it be what it truly is meant to be. Hello Mata, and hello Tus is here as well. So today we have, as the title suggests, a slime and a ghost. I mean, that's probably the easiest way to say it. Now, this is one of those things where we might be seeing a live redesign, in that now that a year has passed and there's a lot of time for me to look over and kind of feel what works, what doesn't work. But it's 4 designs that I got to tackle here today. So I find these two really seem to have a really strong sensibility. As simple as their design is, I quite really like the simplicity. I want to find my voice, the art style, so to speak. I want to feel out basically a design here that is going to set the tone for the rest of the summer, right? One of my favorite things to do is lining. It's this weird thing where I used to hate it, but I enjoy relining because it gives you the opportunity to really dissect the work and figure out a lot of logistics, right? I don't think we have a lot of people here yet, but I want to open up a poll first and see who you guys want me to redesign first. I do have a major question as well that could really change the direction of the franchise forever. I know that sounds super dramatic, but it kind of is. So we're going to wait for more people to come in before I get your opinion on something. But I digress. I just kind of want to see in chat. Again, hope today's been going well. Please let me know how today has been. Do you guys want to see me redesign the slime line first? If not redesign, like adjust or develop. Or do you guys want to see the booth, the ghost line, get redesigned? Now, when I say redesigned, this guy is the one that's probably going to be the most... I have a feeling... yeah, I might be redesigning this guy a little bit. We'll see how I feel about it. And I'll mention why. It's mostly a cultural reason. But we'll see what you guys think. I gotta also go with my gut, So we got 1 vote for slime. Gotcha. I'm going to also just kind of show you yesterday. This was a very fun little prompt. I went back in and I made some adjustments to the colors and whatnot. I'll show you over here. So in order, Cat, oh my god, welcome into our mod. Cat, welcome in, hope you've been well. So you can see here, I've ordered out the ancestries. Caustic being kind of like, I don't want to say the lowliest, but at the end of the line, with typic, lithic, cryptic, gothic, runic, and then the mythic class. Thank you, thank you. Hope you've been well. Good to see you. A lot to catch up on. Hope you and B are doing well. And so these are the ancestries for all the XOTEMPO. They'll probably have like 2 of these ancestries at a given time. I made sure to lean into the colors more so. They had been adjusted from here, so these are like the same colors more or less. But before yesterday, or not before yesterday, before I got off, these colors were a little more desaturated. I really was able to give each ancestry a proper color. There's going to be some adjustments for sure, but you can kind of get an idea of each type as if it were a Pokemon type. Red for being vigor, of like, you know, the base level of just being alive, being human. Caustic, and you can also see I assigned, hello Joe, welcome in. I also assigned, and these aren't up to date yet, but I did it for myself. Caustic will have the agony, typic is smiling, lithic will be stoic, cryptic is going to have rage, gothic will be peaceful, runic laughing with the power of the gods. You had to show up. We did miss you, cat, welcome in. So and then mythic will be the ethereal kind of face where it's like 4 faces, you know, very biblically accurate angel type beat. So I like the new colors. They do a very good job of living in their own space. And again, since there's no bearing as far as like type advantages, it's more like the move sets and other kind of things that I could incorporate into it, you know? So just want to show you progress on that front. But yeah, we're just going to jump right into today's designs. And I think the first thing that I want, now that we've got heads in the chat, guys, make sure you leave a like while you're here. The thing that I was wondering about, as of right now, most of the XOTEMPO, if not basically, let's be honest, every single first stage form has kind of like a helmet, or where applicable, mostly like a whole helmet. So this is a mask in this case, right? But their entire head is usually completely covered. As in the round. And we know that it is a situation where they're shy, right? If not just shy, the idea is like you are helping them break their persona, right? Persona is this Latin word, and we know the games, of course, that means mask, right? It's what we, you know, when we go out into the real world, we have our personas on, and when we're at home, we can kind of be our true selves. Granted, of course, we can, you know, be our true selves outside, but we might have to put on a little bit of a facade, right? So I like the kind of storyline here where the XOTEMPO have an entire helmet, right? But I was thinking about it, and there's a bunch of things I got to figure out. Do I want the color of the wood to be consistent, right? Maybe it's a thing that the ancestries could define themselves in the color of the helmets, or maybe the paint that is on the helmet. My question to you guys is, do you feel that, I want you guys not to just think of it from a design point of view, but you as a player, as a viewer, do you think that it's too hard to connect to guys, I can confirm something really cool. I just got the message. I don't know if you heard the ding. Next collab, I've got one that I'm recording next week. I just confirmed a new collab that I'll be recording first week of June. It will feature an individual who I've never recorded but have been wanting to meet forever and a half, and I'm very excited. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, Do you find that the helmet might be too over um encompassing, or do you guys feel like a mask would be a better fit? I want you guys to tell me, because there's fun moments where, for example, this Baba Yaga inspired baby, um, Brody Jones, go on. um, don't make me bust out the Yankee hat and the Naruto headband, which is a funny combination. Um, you get fun moments like this, where it's a hat that's a whole birdhouse, like Baba Yaga. There's fun moments like you've got the little barrel over here. Um, but otherwise, I have a fully encasing helmet. Part of me wants to make it a mask because not even just because of plush marketability. The creatures can still be itself and have a wooden mask. But part of why I like the helmet is because for the most part, a lot of them are very cylindrical. But because they're cylindrical, it resembles like a totem. And like totems and that nature of stacking totems in tempo is still very on brand, right? That very square kind of shape of the helmet, even if it's a tube, you know, in many cases, like it's a tube here. Um, it's a tough thing to figure out, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Um, because I'm a little torn. I love the helmet, but part of me is looking at a lot of these and they're a little bit unwieldy, you know? Um, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. It's going to very much dictate how I handle a lot of the redesigns that I'll be doing live on stream, you know? Cat writes, I think having a mix might be healthiest to create variety. That's true, but it's going to, consistency is important to me. And maybe some creatures, maybe there could be certain rules, right? Like the more, maybe 3-stage lines, they all have like a full helmet that you have to break, and maybe 2 stages have like a mask. I say it should vary depending on the design for culture, a mask or a helmet. I want to see what the, I kind of agree with you guys. I like consistency and I want it to make sense, right? So for example, in this case, this guy, his entire design, which is why I might redesign him live right now. This is based on like a Hindu style funeral pyre, which is, you know, seen in a lot of cultures, to be honest. But this one is specifically like a Hindu variation. And in Hinduism and in a lot of cultures, death is only the beginning, right? So in the West, we mourn wearing black. In India and many other cultures, you mourn in white because you see death as a freeing experience, right? It's sad, but you're also, it'll always be sad. That's our human emotions. But if we can look at the big picture, this person is free of like the mortal coil and the pain they may have suffered, whatever it might be, right? So part of me is struggling to, and I even said this last time too when I was designing this little guy, and I love him. He's this charred little man, but I think that at the end of the day, it could be something like, I'll tell you why it feels wrong. Because if the funeral pyre in Hinduism is like releasing the spirit, you know, it seems a little messed up that this guy, I guess in this case, he's like a little baddie. He's a booth. A booth is a ghost. He's basically, in this case, like kind of burnt alive, this little guy, whatever he is. And then he'll evolve into the preta, which is this hungry spirit. And the hungry spirit is a punishment in Hinduism, and even seen like on a Buddhist kind of scale, where the idea is in that very human way, we gorge on the material, right? In this case, they're hungry. They're always eating. They're always wanting to eat food. And the notion here is that they've got massive bellies, these ghosts in Hindu culture, and they're eating the nastiest things, the most repulsive things. It's kind of a metaphor that like they're so desperate in this mortal coil that they'll like take whatever they can find, and that's their punishment for being greedy and while they were alive. So when I think about the transition between this first stage form into this guy, and obviously it's not going to be as crazy as it sounds, like people won't really know that level of connection here, like that's just for the background stuff. So part of me is like, I should probably make this more of a general ghosty, maybe lose the higher kind of connection and like the concept of it, like destroying the physical form of releasing the spirit, because it kind of, I like how beautiful that is in our real world, because it's something that people do to mourn. So I think the more and more I think about it, the more I kind of want to like stay away from something as beautiful as that, and probably just go with like a more cute kind of ghouly type character. Like I can very much still keep him like this little gremlin dude, a booth. And you know what I'll do right now, chat? Hello Hikari, hello Shard, and hello Thunder. Welcome in, welcome in. The change depending on amount of members in line would be a cool visual gameplay thing. Yeah, it could be really cool where maybe 3-stage lines, right? Maybe the 3-stage lines, they have a whole helmet, right, that goes around the body as we see here, right? And then maybe this guy, he could have like a wooden helmet, and then he's like completely free, right? Hello Destroyer, welcome in, welcome in. And then maybe for these guys, since they're first stages, maybe, because for example, let's do a quick draw over here, and I know I'm a little all over the place, but I got a lot to figure out. I think it could, I kind of like the idea if it was like just a mask like this, because there's still a lot of mystery here, right? And you could, another thing is, I shit you not, the hug factor, chat. All right, I'm talking about the old hug factor. Like, I feel like if you were to try to hug your like little XOTEMPO, like this guy wouldn't be a very good hug. Then again, he's like trying to slash you and stuff. This guy, look, a cat. Yeah, this cat probably don't want you to hug them, right? But you're still gonna want to hug your cat. When you warm up to it, or vice versa, they'll want to hug you. If it's got this big unwieldy helmet, is that comfortable? Like, you want to pet their head, right? You want them to nestle them, right? So the hug factor is very real to me, chat. Not to mention, like, certain things, like, for example, this little horse guy, right? If I did something like this, right, and it's got actual ears, you would still preserve the mystery. I could do something like this where the helmet maybe comes out like that. Oh, very Cubone vibes. Either way, there's going to be like Cubone vibes or Phantom vibes across the board, right? And then you could have the mouth. Maybe I would close it. There's something interesting to be said about keeping like the mystery, but like I kind of like the mask. Turtle shells are hard, but a plush turtle is still soft and hard. That's true. When it comes to marketable plushie, it will still all be very plushy. But I'm also thinking the real world, right? In this case, there's like a fun thing that happens where the totem helmet can't even fit on the squonk because it's so big. He's so chunky. But something like this, it could theoretically be Hug factor is real, boys and girls. Oh, yeah. Like, it could be something as simple as this, where the back could be like the squishy little thing, and then it's got like something like that. Yeah? They're not made of wood. Very fair, very fair. But like, if you're in the XOTEMPO world, right? Or even just watching the trainers interact with their best buds, like I kind of like that. It breaks up the monotony of the mask, for example. But then again, something like this, it's so cool because it really creates intrigue and mystery. Like, what's inside? It's almost like you're opening a box or a gift. So there are pros and cons. Let's see over here. Shard Light writes, there's something I really love about the helmet. It brings a lot of mystery about what they could potentially look like. Very true, which is what I was just saying. Bon, has your art been inspired by Mac Mignola, who did this? You sometimes have these dark shadows. Dingus, you caught me red-handed. Except here's the thing. I didn't really... I love his work so much. Like, his character work and, like, obviously shading is so cool. I didn't ever look at it and want to emulate it, so I won't say he outright inspired me. I've always enjoyed his work. It might be one of those things truly that just kind of like subtly crept in. Great call out, Joe. Hello, Destroyer. But can you make it a fire ghosty? Like his body is fire-like. I could, but I want it to still be representative of the inspiration with his booth, like a booth or a ghost. Gotta get that marketability, baby, indeed. Wait, are the wood masks going? I don't know if they're gonna go or if I want them to be masks. Whether it's a helmet that covers the whole head or a mask, right? What's up, Oni? Welcome in, welcome in. You need a non-aggressive way of interacting with Wildmon. I feel everyone gets stuck on attacking only. Yeah, which is why I'm thinking about petting and befriending and nuzzling, cuddling. I think some could be masks for sure. I do like that it's a recognizable, unique feature for the brand and how it lets you feel like you bonded with the monster. Yeah, exactly. So what I will do is, for example, the fact that you don't know, this looks like literally a ribbon eel is like the inspiration. The fact that you don't know what its face is, and it's like such a thin mask, is so cool. You don't really know what it is. In this case, the whole element here is mostly wood. Even here, this becomes a mallet. Because I based it off of, I think it's called like a hammerhead. Hammerhead worm or something. Mask can show a great way to show the XOTEMPO opening up to their guide or taking off the mask and giving them, or letting the guide take the mask off for them and they evolve. There is a lot of cool visuals. Could it be a mix of two? Maybe the ones that are hard to befriend would have the full one. You know what, Hikari? I think that's probably what it's going to be. What I might do, and it really kind of tracks for me, I think I might do it so that maybe all the 3 stages, they start with full helmets. That way, if you see a full helmet XOTEMPO, you're like, ooh, that guy's going to grow up to be a very strong person because he has more to unlock. He has more hidden, right? I kind of like that. Because, like, looking at, for example, this guy right here, I kind of like that you can see the rest of his fluff. Like, it changes the design quite a bit. You know? And now thematically, here you couldn't really tell. So, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, I might scrap these 2, chat. I might scrap these 2. We'll see. And they might come back in another one. I have like an idea of what I could put in that place. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably like mix and match Um, then again, like stuff like this really work, right? Where this is looking like a pill, it's a pill bug, and pills come in these kind of shapes. One side is closed off like this. Now, granted, there's a different way I could do it, right? Like I could just simply make this side a different color, right? And it would still look like a pill. Um, you know? And that looks like something else, so we will undo that. You know what I mean? We'll see. Um, Let you see more to unlock. Yeah. Playing Kindred Fates earlier today. Wanted to pet them, could only attack. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is what people are there for, right? So, it helps players choose and have a slight hint of how much work goes into going their monster. Clever visual, totally agree with the full mass. Yeah, we'll see. And even with stuff like this, where I like that the helmet is like full here and doesn't necessarily evolve into one, I can just alter the design as needed. Maybe these guys could have full helmets, even though they're not part of a 3-stage. They split into a split Evo, and that makes them a little higher tier than the other XOTEMPO. So you could still be like, oh, okay, that's still a strong character. I wonder why. And then you're like, oh, it can split evolve, you know? Okay, I think I like that idea. Let's get down to business. So this always happens. We have in the beginning, but listen, there's a lot of stuff that I have to cover. I'm going to open up a poll now that we've got a bunch of you guys here. Chat, I want to hear what you guys were up to today and what you guys got planned on the weekend. I'm going to set up the poll. What are we drawing first? Ghost or slime? Go ahead and vote, guys. Y'all got 2 minutes. I will say nothing because I don't want to skew the chat. I'd be happy to work on either or. Wrong. I would want to work on the ghost more. So I would say let's do slime first because the ghosty has more variation opportunities. So you might be wondering, like, Bon, why do you have so many of these up on the screen? And the reason why, chat, is because I'm going to... We're going to bring that down, and I'm going to design variations. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying variations in that they're going to appear as multiple forms, okay? I don't think I'm going to do something to that extent. I may not. What I'm trying to say about variations is we're not going to just do reline what's there that I did a whole year ago and call it a day. That would be doing a disservice to the design, right? I want to cover more bases. Oh, maybe if I try a different style of hairstyle, if I try a different, whatever it is, like a different slime pattern, a different eye style. Like, I want to cover multiple things, you know? So you're going to see me do that throughout the summer. And I know I'm going to hear a million times, Bon, you should make it a variant. You should make it like a form change like in Pokemon. We'll see. I'm not guaranteeing anything. If it's like something that really benefits the nature of the design, like admittedly, I will say slimes are always depicted in like multiple colorways, you know? And they usually might have like a different element associated with it, right? Maybe I could do a slime in every ancestry. That could be cool. Maybe I won't consider them extra designs, you know? Because again, I'm a big fan of the serendipitous. I really like where I'm at with the 111 designs. Just because I don't like any other number. Like 120 doesn't seem right. 125 also doesn't seem right. 150 sounds like me trying to do Pokemon. Not to mention, like, there's no need to, like, put that many designs in a game. Like, yeah, obviously that's more content for more people, but that's also more work for a small indie studio potentially, right? If you have 150 designs or whatever it is, you're only still reasonably using a small amount and keeping a small amount, you know? Vote slime. Going to a housewarming party later? Hell yeah. Have fun, Joe. Been trying to draw NPCs for my partner's next TTRPG game. Sounds fun as hell. Slime looks so edible. Absolutely. Plans tonight's Poke D&D and then sleeping all the way. Because I'm recovering. Hope you feel better, Cat. Got a promotion at work? Let's go. Congrats. Everyone give Cat a shout out there. Voted Ghost. Very common. I have a slime based on jam flavors. Delicious. Instead of the body changing color, I think the mask paint can change its... Well, Thunder, you might be right about that. Okay, let's see what y'all voted. Ghost. The damn it! All right, I'm gonna honor the vote. I think the Ghost will have more patterns I could kind of explore more. You know, it's not gonna be that much, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna see what feels good and probably stick to the one. But if anything, we still got to redesign this guy right here. As I said, it's based on the booth, which is Ghost in Hindi. Or is it Sanskrit? I'll have to look. Would you consider making the slime more Jello-like? D&D ooze tend to have food names for some reason. Black pudding. That's true. Like, part of me, I like, you know, eschewing expectation, right? So I kind of like that it's more of a slime here and then it becomes Jello, and then you have the slime in the inside. That's kind of like the thing that's like still familiar from the previous design. So I had a version where it was more Jello-like, and you know, never say never, but I kind of like having both, you know. There will also be like a nice texture difference, right? One is like a slime where it's like more matte in a way, and then there's going to be this more Jello one which will be very reflective. Chilling for the day, head out for my church fundraiser. Hell yeah, sounds good. Just passing by to say hello. I wanted you to do this guy's magnificent glow up. Hey Nui, you already know. Okay, I got you. So this was like some of the fun parts of last year when I was doing XOTEMPO, was me teaching you guys a lot about various cultures, right? And teaching myself, to be honest. I think with a booth, right? Or Buddha, spirits of deified heroes or fierce and evil beings, they're wrongly referred to as ghosts or demons. This is a different thing. Buddhas. Not Buddha. The frick? They can be pacified through worship or offerings referred to as Buddha Aradhana. Aradhana, prayer. In popular culture, Wo Kya Hai, what is that? A Pakistani reality show where the host investigates haunted locations throughout Pakistan and records the activities. Saya, or Shadow, Pakistani horror drama revolving around black magic. Ahat, Approaching Sound, an Indian thriller horror anthology series focusing on many supernatural stories, including those of booths. Shudder original VHS 99 has one character reference to the Buddha and even uses turmeric to burn one of the ghouls. So, over here, it says Booth is a supernatural creature, usually the ghost of a deceased person, which is why I have them in the funeral pyre. And maybe what I can do, chat, maybe I get rid of the fact that it's on fire because it's not cleansed yet. Because I think it is a fun concept, the pyre approach. And he's like, then again, you know what? It's not like... What do you guys think of this design? On a scale of 1 to 10, you know, hearing about funeral pyres and what I was saying earlier about cleansing and all that, do you think this feels too sacrilegious? First of all, it's a kid's property. That's something we have to consider. And obviously, do not get me wrong, Pokemon has plenty of dark stuff in there too. But like, I don't want to say how hidden is it, but like, how meshed is it into the space, you know, of the design. Hello, Aiko. Welcome in, welcome in. Because what I could do, there's a booth here in the Balinese tradition that's got these long tongues. You can see this guy's like a big mouth. Now, granted, freaking the Ghastly line, the goated Ghastly line, they do have a lot of tongue action as well. But I'm going to read this while you guys tell me what you think about this design. Whether or not you feel it's too sacrilegious or not, from an outsider perspective of like Hindu culture, Indian culture. But again, many cultures feature funeral pyres and the like, right? So, Bhut is a supernatural creature, usually the ghost of a deceased person in the popular culture, literature, and some ancient texts of the Indian subcontinent. Interpretations of how Buddhas come into experience vary by region and community, but they are usually considered to be perturbed and restless due to some factor that prevents them from moving on. So it might be like transmigration, non-being, nirvana, or swarga or naraka, depending on the tradition. This could be a violent death, unsettled matters in their lives, or simply the failure of their survivors to perform proper funerals. Wait, maybe I could still reference the funeral pyre and it's not been properly done. And that's why this person hasn't moved on. So belief in ghosts has been deeply ingrained in the minds of the people of the subcontinent for generations. There are many alleged haunted places in the subcontinent, such as cremation grounds, dilapidated buildings, which this is kind of like a house, palaces, havelis, forts, forests, bungalows, burning ghats. Ghosts also occupy a significant place in Bengali culture, form an integral part of the socio-cultural beliefs of both Muslim and Hindu communities. Fairy tales often use the concept of ghosts in references to paranormal activity. As we know, in Pakistan, the word jinn is used to refer both the Arabic jinns as well as bhoots. Influenced by Arabic and Persian mythology, Bhutas in the Pakistani society have more varied and fluid identity, ranging from jinns from another realm made of fire to ghosts of humans who died painful deaths. Buddha is a Sanskrit term that carries the connotation of past and being, because it has a connection with one of the most widespread roots in Indo-European, namely bu, a similar sounding cognate in virtually every branch of the language family: Irish ba, English bi, Latvian but, and Persian budan. In Hinduism, Bhuth also refers to a group of 5 basic elements called Pancha Bhuta, which in Hinduism is the basis of all cosmic creation. These are Prithvi, earth; Jal, water; Agni, which you guys know, Aguniman is Agni; fire; Vayu, air; and Akash, sky, or ether in this case. Ayurveda and Indian philosophy, the human body is made of these 5 elements. I think it kind of works. To me, it's the same vibe as Sharkadet. It feels like that's the funniest. That's maybe why I like Sharkadet. He would kick us in the shins. And this guy's pretty small. Maybe have it off and turn on with different animations. I think he just likes drawing them. Usually I think the fire makes it too intimidating. Yeah, I think, Death isn't something perverse as long as you're respectful. Why do you love drawing tongues? I don't draw a lot of tongues. Do I? I mean, these creatures have tongues. Hold on. Thunder, besmirching my good name. I'm gonna look if there's any tongues. That's a long tongue. But he's a hyena. Kind of a long tongue. That's a gecko or a snake or some sort of animal that has a tongue. Bro's got the tongue! Honestly, of 100 something designs, bros, nah, you geeking out, bro. Oh, like lawn turf tongue. Oh my god. Okay, so I kind of, you know what? I kind of like this idea now. The tongue allegations have been beaten, Joe. My good name is cleared. Praise the Lord. Um, I think, you know what? I've kind of convinced myself I don't have to actually add the fire. If anything, because you know what is a fun thing is this also has a connection to Baba Yaga's house. Was kind of like a thing that I was trying to do. Keep coping. Hey, do it that way, Thunder. You're not besmirching my good name. Um, so let's go ahead. I am gonna keep it. I do think the fire is what probably threw me off a little bit. I'm gonna make it like, as they said, right? Maybe, you know, and I don't have to go in depth or anything. I'll write the storyline like it is a XOTEMPO that refuses to move on, right? Which is very much, hello Draco, welcome in, welcome in. Um, Not the tongue emoji. You guys ever seen that Sonic meme where it's like this crazy looking Sonic? He's wagging his tongue and he's got his hand in his head like it's so fucking funny. So that's what I'll do. You know, in a very typical ghost-like fashion, he may have survived a death experience and or a near death experience, or maybe he's not he's refusing to kind of go to the next phase. Maybe that's something I can like touch on the I'm gonna make his hands just a little like he just looks like he's up to something. What are these grubby little mitts up to? You know? And this is what's going to be really fun about redesigning these designs that I haven't touched in like in forever. I'm going to like really be able to breathe new life with a year's worth of experience. And think about it. XOTEMPO was also created with a year's worth of experience working on Dex Neo, so many different Pokemon designs because I started designing for my channel, the Fakemon runs, like that was all training for XOTEMPO. And then I had another year training arc. Bros, I gotta tell y'all something. What I realized is Freaky Sonic, exactly. So it's okay. First of all, I'm gonna say this. This is gonna sound crazy, like just while drawing this. It's okay to be sad. I wasn't giving myself a proper chance to grieve something recently. And because I was trying to be holier than thou, and I'm like, oh, I've done all this, you know, healing and you know, blah 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 blah. Boy, just feel it out. Who cares? Be human. We're human. That's it. Something. All right, take care, Took. It's great to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us. What I want to quickly get into is I think we need to, in order to purge tough emotion, we have to feel it. I was trying to be above it and, you know, just find myself in a space where if I didn't properly acknowledge it, meant like, oh, I'm better than it. Hello, Ninja. And I'm saying this because I've been talking about like, oh, I was in my training arc, right? 1 year then, and then this past year training after stepping away from XOTEMPO. What's up, Rec? So, well, here's the thing. The reason why I say that, Maximus, is it could be a fun way where I do maybe like it's a reference to Baba Yaga's house. And that creates like a meta thing in the world. You know, like it's like one of those if you know type things. But what I'm trying to say is anytime you're sad, anytime you're this, anytime you're that, just remember that it doesn't define your whole life. That's only one of the seasons of your life. You know? Where, quite frankly, we're allowed to hurt. We're allowed to grieve. And I wasn't giving myself that opportunity. So now I'm kind of living in my next season. The next season of Bonny John. Is going back and working on XOTEMPO. So, alright, that's all I have to say about that. Last day of school forever? Wait, how is it going to be a last day, but you have to write 4 papers? Wouldn't that mean you're turning it in after school is over? Of course you made one. Who do you think I am? Okay, let's do... So what I could say is like, and I even think I said this last year. I think this Baba Yaga house, it could, like the body for this guy could be like, it's like the burned down house, kind of like the reference to the Baba Yaga. You know? What do you guys think about that? And it's still going to be his own creature, so... You know what I'll do? Maybe I reference the funeral pyre and I can make the eye holes like a fire. So that way it isn't too much. And if anything, chat, what I'll do is I'll have a little bit of a fire going so it doesn't feel too... Like, I think the fire was a little too much in the first design. I mean, I think it's a great part of it, don't get me wrong. But if I do something like this where, like, the house is kind of setting on fire... like... There's something about it also that kind of feels like funerary offerings, things like that, you know? I guess, actually, if I am including the fire... Let's... I kind of just like him in the Baba Yaga style. We'll just do the hidey hole there. And he's mischievous for sure, so he's gonna keep these freaking gremlin eyes. He's up to no good. You know what? I really like this. I'm glad I talked myself back in. Or shout outs to you guys if anyone mentioned, like, nah, it's cool. You should do this. I'm going to give him, like, bigger feet like this. What a little bastard. I love him. And you know what? So he's not going to be like pitch black. He'll be like soot black. And... perfect. What could go over here? Unless I do... I could keep the top part open. It does create a nice negative space in the middle. And then maybe I'll just cover it with more wood here or something, you know? Bro, look at what a year's worth of design um honestly, I don't even want to do any other permutation. Let's compare and contrast. The shape language feels a lot better. The fire is integrated a little more. The personality is a little more um elevated. This is the kind of stuff you can expect um with my redesigns. What's cool is you could see my growth as an artist in real time if we like go back and see some of my designs, and you know, if they weren't as strong before, like you can kind of see where my design sensibilities start evolving and I get more confident and this and that. It's pretty cool that I can kind of look at my streams and everything is kind of like a the hands are really kind of messed up, but I'll figure that out. It's like a time capsule. Boy, if Game Freak don't snatch me up. I pushed the papers to the last day. Ninja, why would you do that finals week? I'm glad that Bonnie got renewed for a new season. Hey, we got the new season of Bonnie. Are you drawing XOTEMPO today? Of course I am. Oh, Bon, you know how the Baba Yaga has legs and no arms? What if this guy has arms and no legs? How are you gonna walk around? I have my college graduation tomorrow to age myself. Hey, congratulations to you, Destroyer. Shout outs to everyone graduating. If you're in pre-K and you're watching this, hey, Goo Goo Gaga, congrats. Big ups to you, little baby who's on YouTube watching me for some reason. Congrats to my high schoolers, to my college graduates, to my middle schoolers. If you guys watch, much love to you. Thank you for the support. Now you guys are going into your next season. You've been renewed. Your new season. Like they wispy now. Almost like smoke coming from. Yeah, that's true. You could do like an incense trail or a soft smoke. That's exactly what I was thinking. Having it starting to be like black kind of clouds to kind of match the wispiness and then have fire at the end of it. You know? I think it'll look cool. That is if you think fire is too intense. Exactly, Oni. Same wavelength right now. It looks like a tiny piano music. Yeah, exactly. You're basing this on TSD? Looking up to your inspiration. What is TSD? Literally means last sacrifice. So I'm not doing this entirely on that, but like you're not wrong. Like it's kind of similar. Yeah, actually, Hindu cremation rite. Oh, maybe. I've just been calling it funeral pyre. This is the actual right word. Shoutouts to you, Maximus Prime. I'm gonna update my thing, pyre, and I'll put. I didn't know that was the name. Goated. Little guy in a box. He's pretty cute. 19 people here, only 12 likes. Let's get those likes up. Embu, August 2024 to May 2025. He's reborn though. Embu 2. Fast and Furious, new season. I'm gonna get your face. Have you heard of Mario Mon? I have. I have. He is not Mario. Not he. What's his name? The guy blonde hair. Alpharad. I saw Alpharad's thumbnail. I didn't actually watch it. No one told you Bum was gonna be this way. Goo Goo Gaga. Walk on arms. Now he'll be on his funny little legs. Have you seen a skull crawler? Nah. Who's up gooing they got? No, Destroyer. Why? I'm pre-K. Goo Goo Gaga. That wasn't a bad Optimus Prime impression. Like, family, family, family. Um, we're so funny, chat. That's funny. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna start coloring this guy. Google Gaga. um, I do want to. I think one thing that I will need to figure out though. Um, is the paint marks. You know, like I think the paint marks. It's kind of like perfect timing that I finished the ancestries yesterday. By the way, if you guys came in a little late, you may have missed the ancestries. I just updated a few things. I can go back into it real quick to show you guys because it is relevant to what I'm discussing right now. Do you guys want me to do that? Because what I'm thinking is if the quote unquote lineage or ancestry. Oh, another thing that I have to figure out is whether or not I'm going to have their eyes glow from the inside. No, you know what? I'm not. Also, another thing I was considering is like, I gave them all like yellow eyes, the first forms. And one, it's because yellow pops. And if I make it glow, I'd rather like letting the eyes glow when they're about to evolve. So you know, like, oh, there's like a power shift, you know? And then I'm gonna do my favorite thing, which is a little highlight. Ding 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 ding. That's the exact music, chat. What is eyelids be brown the inside? Yes, Joe. Are you reading my mind, my dude? You did it before I even said anything. I came in late, so that would be nice. Absolutely. Came in late, no worries. So it's still going to become the Hungry Ghost? It's going to still be the Hungry Ghost, yeah. I'm thoroughly disturbed. Well done. I've been playing It's dope. Mariamon makes me think what franchise could work for a Pokemon game. Oh, because it's all Mario stuff, right? But in the Pokemon formula. Are the paint marks like lava? No, Andy, they're not, but that would be cute. The thing is, not everyone would have equal billing. So the consistency thing is that paint marks on the wood helmets will look like paint. And ideally what I want to do is accentuate what the creature is. Like if this is a more ghosty type, I think something like a paint job that looks kind of like a skull could be really fun. You know? Like this adds a lot of personality, you know? It could be a lot more simpler where it's more referential. So it could still be something like this and it looks like a skull, and look, all of a sudden, look how much even more personality he gets, you know? So it's gonna have to be something that I have to sit down and truly figure out. You can see the paint marks that I gave him here. Simple orange marks. Why? Because it pops out. It, you know, fits that warmthness that's happening here. There's levels, you know? All stuff that I'm going to have to figure out. So what I will do, though, as I just said, I'm going to show you guys the... I'm going to show you guys the ancestries that I updated from yesterday, and that depending on the ancestries, they could really elevate um you know, the lore in the sense of like what color the paint on the helmets could be, you know? Now, on one hand, part of me is like, oh, don't limit what it could be because the color palette of the creature is more important. Like, if there's a through line kind of thing that I'm trying to figure out, it would be smart to like let it be any color. But at the end of the day, if it is a video game and you want to convey certain information, it might be wise to add even more importance to the ancestry. You know? Yeah, these fingers are not good. I will fix them at some point. Probably in a flip. I mean, that looks pretty good, right? Look at how much more personality. I mean, granted, I just made it a little more clean. But there's more intentionality, right? And now what I'll do is I'll use the same color to do something like black, like this. And then I'm going to do yellow. And then what I'll do, lines on fire, no go. You do something like that. Interesting. I'm wondering if I should do it the other way around where it's fire and then it billows off into smoke. But not too stressed about it at the moment. Okay. Oops, did I draw on the wrong layer? Yes, I did. And I'll show you the ancestries right now. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, it might have to be the other way around, actually. It might have to be... Anyway. He's a cartoon villain for real, exactly. I was googling on Yesti and the rituals. They wrap cloth around the body. Maybe it could be a neat idea to have limbs wrapped in loose cloth. It could be, but the thing is, again, I don't want it to reference it too much. Like, I don't want to overstep my bounds, so to speak. And on one hand, like, it could look like a mummy, right? Like, that's what, like, a mummification process in a way. Preserving the body to some degree, right? But also, because it's a real world tradition, I don't want to do too much, like, referencing too much. I don't know, it's kind of rubbed me a little bit of the wrong way, like, to the point where I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do this, you know? So I think I've got it in a fun little place. Right now, I mean, it's even more intense, as it were, because it is presumed this guy has already been charred inside and out. That, like, look at his body, like, completely grayed out, like soot. You know? Maybe I could even say, like, he leaves a mess. Everywhere he runs around and touches is covered in like ash and soot. You know, just to imply he is like fully burned up and down, you know? Um okay. There you go. I mean, that looks pretty damn good, chat. What do you guys think? I should be only glow in animation unless it's something special in universe. Exactly. And I don't want like the first forms to have like glowing eyes. Like I considered it because I'm like I want it to be able to like still express themselves from within inside their helmets. But at the same time, as I said, like at the end of the day, the important thing, like glowing eyes is something that should be reserved for like menacing or powerful creatures. If you have the first form have like with glowing eyes, and then like the future forms doesn't, it's gonna feel like it got weaker. If that makes sense, you know. Again, I wanted to draw this guy because it very much feels like it. You know, he brings a lot of mystery and intrigue into the world of XOTEMPO. So if you were to see this guy, you're like, what's his deal? You know? In reality, I think what I'll go for is an even darker kind of like gray burned color like that maybe. Or you know what? Hell, maybe even more ashen. Something like that might be a better color, to be honest. Like this wood feels very healthy. It might be something like that is a better fit. You know? And then now that I'm looking at this, yeah, this feels a little more ghosty to me. And it could still be soot, right? Um, this guy would hide in his mask if we got caught doing something devious. Absolutely. Um, how hungry is the hungry ghost? Maybe the hand should feel less attached. How do you mean? So I'm curious, what's the story behind this hungry ghost that the gremlin evolves into? And the last couple of streams really stuck out to me. I'll get right into that. Hello, Rosa. Welcome in. Welcome in. Feels more natural. Kind of looks like a knight. In what way? What's up, Red Claw? Welcome. Okay, he's gonna get you. He's looking really good so far. Thank you. Glowing anything is very intense. It's usually big. Exactly. Dingy ash color is great. Maybe the fingers can look bandage-like. It could. It could. But as I said, like I don't want to refer to the bandages and mummification too much, you know. Thing is, I mean, if I gave him 4 hands with a thumb, it would be easier to draw, you know. But since I gave him just 3, it's like throwing me off a little. Like I said, I'll figure out the hands a little later. But I think this is a great place to kind of leave off as I go into the Preta, the hungry ghost. We're going to go right into it, I think. So, exactly. If you haven't liked the stream, are you even here? Thank you, Larik, for that. You heard the man. Looking awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Does this one have a name? Makes me think of Baba Yaga's house. He does have a name. It is Embu. So, it's Embu. So you have Ember, Booth, which means ghost in Hindi, and then of course Boo, a sound ghosts make apparently. I've not met a ghost. I have met a ghost in my house. He didn't formally introduce himself, but I heard him whisper in my ear twice. And I felt the wind of the breath hitting me. So, oh. Plume looks like the feathers helm. Oh, I see. Okay. Hello, Mark. Welcome in. I see. Okay. I wouldn't... That's not my first thought, but like I can acknowledge that. Do you guys like the negative space in the middle here? Like, it's almost like the attic space. I feel like it does add a little bit of interest to the silhouette. And on top of that, it's supposed to kind of look like it is the framework of the house. You know? Okay, I think it's fun. Maybe a few lit cinders on this since it kind of looks ashen colored. I really like the negative space in the middle. I think it adds a lot. I think so too. Empty space does make it look more like a lantern, which, you know, the very first mythic XOTEMPO you get is Compagni, your companion lantern. Also got fire inside. So, there you go. You won't formally capture Compagni, and you'll be able to name him whatever you want in your game. It's how I see it. Compagni comes from companion and Agni, or Agni, fire. But who is texting me nonstop? Hello, Pokerex. Welcome in, welcome in. So, next up, ooh, that's too thick, that line. Okay. So this guy evolves into, I don't have a formal name for him yet. I do. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. We'll see. Hello, Slow Lord. Welcome in. This is a pretty good name. Gourmand. For gourmet and his massive maw. Because he's got a big mouth. And I'm going to read to you, just like we looked up the booth, right? Like the general term for the ghost. I'm going to look into Preta, aka the hungry ghost. So, Preta, also known as the hungry ghost, is the Sanskrit name for a type of supernatural being described in Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, and Chinese folk religion as undergoing suffer greater than that of humans, particularly an extreme level of hunger and thirst. They have their origins in Indian religions and have been adopted into East Asian religions via the spread of Buddhism. Preta is often translated into English as the hungry ghost. So, in early sources such as the Pitavatu, they're far more varied. Their descriptions below mainly in this narrow context. The development of the concept of the Preta started with just thinking that it was the soul and the ghost of a person once they died, but later the concept developed into, and this is what I'm going into, the transient state between death and obtaining karmic reincarnation in accordance with the person's fate. So, In order to pass into the cycle of karmic reincarnation, the deceased family must engage in a variety of rituals and offerings to guide the spirit into its next life. So the first ritual would be the funerary pyre, right? So let's say like this XOTEMPO isn't properly passed on, right? Because it's like a failed and I don't have to go fully in the context and relate it too much into the real world. So if the family does not engage in these funerary rites, which last for 1 year, the soul could remain suffering as a preta for the rest of eternity. Pretas are believed to have been false, corrupted, compulsive, deceitful, jealous, or greedy people in a previous life. As a result of their karma, they are afflicted with an insatiable hunger for a particular substance or object. Traditionally, this is something repugnant or humiliating, such as cadavers or feces, though in more recent stories, it can be anything however bizarre. In addition to having an insatiable hunger for an aversive item, pretas are said to have disturbing visions. Pretas and human beings occupy the same physical space, and while humans looking at a river would see clear water, pretas see the same river flowing with an aversive substance. Common examples such include visions including pus and filth. So the idea is these are, again, like the hungry ghost. In Chinese, it's egui, or the starving ghost. The idea is that they are more or less described as human-like, but with sunken, mummified skin, narrow limbs, enormously distended bellies, which this is what this is, with the forehead, third eye is actually a belly button, and the top that looks like a turban is a torso, a human torso, and then the belly hangs over, and that's where its mouth is. Such a term was taken up in Buddhism to describe one of 6 possible states of rebirth. And yeah, they would have narrow limbs, enormous distended bellies, and long, thin necks. So I'm not translating exactly. It's just what it is, right? I'm utilizing what I can without going so overboard, right? Great name for the ghost, thank you. Like Gourmand, yeah, Gourmet, Gourmand, giving Yu-Gi-Oh, really? Gourmand, Karma, Rain, World intensifies. The fruity bat barf? He's not barfing juice. He's delicious. So I got distracted, but Gorma supposed to sound like Karma. Gorma. Oh my god, yeah, low key. Yeah, low key, fire. From that description, I can't help but imagine the hungry ghost attempt to be covered in mucus. Ugh. Hard Kargana. You could add a vistage face above the belly button. I like the simplicity, and I even like that it looks like the ribs showing through, but it almost kind of looks like the wrappings of a turban. The simplicity there, right? This wispy trail at the bottom makes me think it was some kind of snake at first. Yeah, it's either, I was thinking it could possibly be, what do you call it? A slug, and it's like crawling through the ground. In reality, I think I like him as a ghost, like a floating ghost. Guy giving Yokai Watch vibes. The Flem's Temple. Ugh, accidental bonus, hell yeah. Looking at Pot of Greed vibes, I would say, looking at it, it is a very simple design, and I love that for it. I love that for it. Part of me wonders if I want to give him arms. On one hand, I could see myself, and I think I definitely did try last year. I could see myself giving him arms here. It could be something like that. And then another version, he could have arms. Realistically, it could be like right here. Now, it really changes the vibe, you know? I kind of think the simplicity is best, where he's just a floating ghost and all he wants to do is eat. I don't think I want to add on any kind of arms. So I think it really works for it. I think so too. I'm just going to kind of elevate what I have here and not overdo it, to be honest. Um, let's see. Okay. I kind of saw the Whisper as sort of like the end of intestines. Yeah, that's kind of something that I was also intending as well. It's the lips. A lot of yokai watch. Has he been given the right to bear arms? He has not. He has been denied and rejected. Um, let's go ahead and we'll jump right in. Um, again, the focus is when I'm doing these lines, I'm really trying to get all of the, what's the word? Like, I'm really trying to be as accurate because this is like key art, right? I want it to best encapsulate the model that it would presumably have. I'm going to, I think I'm going to extend the face a little bit. Yeah, I like this very oblong kind of shape. I think that fits for me. Let's see. I think it's gonna need that conical kind of shape there. Okay, how do I do this part? See, there's like stuff that I have to like think about from a 3D perspective that I didn't really think about before. You know, because I didn't have to. That's the first phase, right? Maybe it's like the belly leaning over. Oh, God. And so, like I said, I chose this guy and the slime, plus a few, you know, as you saw the other day, like a few other XOTEMPO to represent the franchise as a whole, because I have a lot of faith in how far their design can kind of reach the layperson, you know? Like, what are the most fun and interesting? I have like cool designs to show off, cute designs to show off. You want to be able to, especially in a pitch Bible, show the breadth of your work. BREADH, breadth of your work. Hmm. Um, Imagine him using his tongue as an arm to drag food to him. That's exactly right. That's what it is. I think it's great. This guy, just like a Japanese version of Slimer. Why Japanese? He would be a more Indian version, but I don't want it to be an Indian version of Slimer. Top of the head can be a hand. I don't think it needs a hand. See this guy acting very Gengar-esque. I could see that too. Like you mean trying to define the shapes. Those eyes are sick. Thank you. Pants are number one for sure. Pants designs to show off. I feel like it should mention, even though it's not the intent, red lips that connect around the face that could have negative connotation because of blackface. I don't want to be too woke. Just felt no. I appreciate it. Yeah. Um, for sure, those are the kind of conversations that have to be brought up one way or another. I don't think it will invoke that, but you never know. Um, it could be something I have to think about for sure. Um, it could be any color, but thank you for sharing regardless. A lot of Oni look like that as well. Tell us what the meaning with the bump, because I'm seeing that as an Audi. Yeah, I just mentioned it. I don't know if you heard it, but it is, if the hungry ghost, they would be extremely emaciated. Their entire body, their neck is long and thin. Their chest, their ribs are showing, but they would have these massive gullets. They'd have like long, nasty, like arms and legs. But the one defining feature of the hungry ghost is its massive belly. So the idea is the turban is the appearance of a torso, and that's the Audi, and the belly is like an extended gut, essentially. You know? Freaky guy, the drawing not Bonnie. Hello, Gwinty. I thought it was based on a yokai. No, I just read the description. Unless you came in late. It's the Preta. But that is supposed to be an Audi, and it kind of almost looks like a third eye, as like, because it's a ghost. It's a ghoulie. So there's multiple levels to the design, which I really like in its simplicity. It gives so much Yokai Watch and Pot of Greed that I don't know if that's the first thought one would have. Fruitbat XOTEMPO barfs on the ground. It might. I mean, this guy, I don't think he's eating yokai. I don't think he's eating, remember, the real world inspiration is only inspiration, and the way I do my design philosophies for XOTEMPO, in the world that we live in, when it comes to even like the stories of like cryptids, right? Or world cultures, and even the Bible has been written over and over and over. And the Bible is written by man, right? And it's been edited by man. And we all know history is always dictated by the winner. At the end of the day, the direction and design philosophy of, XOTEMPO has always been kind of the way the real world treats cryptozoology and things of that nature, where a guy hears one thing and passes it to the next, and it's recorded this way, and another person corroborates it, but someone else gets attacked by the thing, and da-da-da-da. The way I deal with my designs is I base it off of some sort of real world mythology or a concept of some sort. And I run it through the ringer for my world, which is not rooted in our real world, right? So, if it's a hungry ghost, I could have elements of it for sure. Like I chose this very queasy green and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's like my version on many of these things. And I'm like trying to give credence by adding my game of telephone to the mix, which I think is really fun. Okay. So I won't have this guy eating, well, maybe like there's going to be a gag where he's like trying to eat all the other like XOTEMPO, and he's always like scolded, and he's like For sure eating all the tasty sweets and snacks of the world, right? That's for sure. Um, he could look like a poo or a slime or something. Hopefully my bag won't have missed too much. No worries. We'll see you in a little bit. To me, it looks more like a clown than blackface. That's a cool detail. I missed that part. Was making some toast. Oh, that's cool. He doesn't have a dad bod. He is the dad bod, especially because of the round red cheek ends. Whole new world we live in. I did not mean eating yokai. No worries. But just to clarify, right? Um, okay. Let me see. I kind of want to see. We could do that. How does this look so far, chat? And yeah, like ultimately people will say things like, "Oh, it looks like Slimer, it looks like Gengar, it looks like this." Sometimes you can't avoid these kind of things, you know? I know in my heart of hearts what it's meant to be. Like comparisons are going to be made. You know, people will always have their opinion, and that's fine, and that's actually a good thing. And you know, maybe I can try and find ways to like lean it out of this thing or that thing. But you know, somebody could look at Gengar and be like, "Oh, he's based off of Slimer." Um, Rubat XOTEMPO, I don't know if he barfs fruit juice. Is that a thing I've said in the past? I've probably said a lot of stuff that I don't remember. um, but I don't think my fruit bat is probably going to. If I've said that in the past, I'm probably gonna leave that out. Okay, yeah, I like this. Let's go ahead and let's see. I mean, I think this is a very, very solid design. It's a little wonky looking on the right side of the face, so I'll try to fix that up. You did, I think. I genuinely don't remember. It's been a year, so. So let me see. Let's do. Kind of looks like a slug, you know. Is there a way to make him fatter? Uh, I could make the mouth a little smaller, but his name is Gourmand, so yeah, a bigger mouth always does work. But if I were to make the mouth smaller and then therefore the area in which the belly space, like it would look like he's fatter. Um, but I don't know if he needs to be fatter. There can be scenes where you know he eats and he can like really extend his like body shape or something, you know. Intestine's tail. Yeah, I was trying to think if I could do. I don't think he needs like any kind of wispiness or anything. Um, an intestine. Let's see. Let's try and make because he would still have a big mouth. I could fit the entirety of his mouth in here. Actually, you know what? I don't like it that big. I kind of do like it a little more inside. Hmm. Now, I could make it a perfect circle, but part of me likes... Yeah, what if it's like some sort of shape like that? Let me see. Ooh. I kind of like this shape a lot. Hold on. Oh, and then this could look like a double chin. Second X. Hold on, I kind of likes this. I kind of likes this. Right? Am I onto something? Might have to do the lines again later because I'm still... I mean, I like that shape. Okay. Um, Kind of similar to archetypes in fiction. There's a first, but it'll never be the only one. Yeah. He looks cuter somehow. Smaller mouth gives off puffy cheeks. You'll have to esophagus. Very nice, Rag. This is now cobra shaped. I like it. Like Casper's very first card, yet different. Absolutely is. His shape kind of now looks like an urn. Oh my god, yes! That's so true. The butt chin is where the butt would be. It's true. Gourmet on the chat filter. Yeah, the urn shape going from one like housing for the spirit into yo. Like, don't get me wrong, I like this shape. It's very simple, but it's almost too simple. This gets to be a little more intentional. Down to the urn. Yeah. I like it. I really, really like it. I also really like this double chin action, and the body, it feels even more like intestinal, which is so gross. It's more intentional and it's intestinal. You know? Okay. I'll have to redo the lines again at some point, which is fine. The urn connection is so dope. And you know what? As cute as he is, right? His shape isn't very commanding for like a second stage. This guy feels like the glow up. You know? His greed is sickening. Left chin also looks like it would separate into legs as a living person. Does it comment Ernest? Dang, Rick, you're killing it. I'm liking it. Cleft chin. It looks like it struggles to move because of how large it is. I like to imagine when it eats something big, the squiggly body just gets round and has to bounce away. Oh, that'd be so cute when it like, yeah, when it's overindulgent, it drops to the floor. It's like sluggling along. This person they would have wide hips, absolutely. I like the double chin thing. Also, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like it just seems more ghostly too. Like this felt like more sluggish, like it looks like it's on the ground. This one does feel like it's like flying a little more, but maybe not entirely. I might have to do a shape like that, maybe. I wouldn't mind it being like a fat snake ghost that's on the ground. You know? Like, I wouldn't mind it being on the ground and it's squishy and nasty. Okay. I'm going to pretty much keep the same colors. I really like the green that I got because it is a very nasty, kind of mucusy green. Like I said, I will end up relining this guy after a little bit. Okay. I might make this more of a purple. Let's see. It's so lazy that it doesn't float. Yeah, scavenger vibe. Yeah, I like that. Snakes can unhinge. Yes. The chin would be the legs and the belly button's on the head. Where does that mouth land on a human body? We don't talk about that. Because it's not, it's, you know, it's not like a true body, right? Like, it's just invoking that based on what I'm inspiring it from, right? So it's not a true human body. It's it's kind of like a little column A, a little column B, right? Um, kind of like this purpley pink. Um, I'm gonna make it a little more blue. Very like circus freak colors, if that makes sense. We'll see if the colors work. I might revert it back if need be. You know what? I do like the way that the other colors I had. It's crazy how much the colors change things. I'll do red. But you know what else I did was like I had more of a gradation. Wow, it feels very different. Isn't that crazy how much the design... It almost even looks like a Cobra hood. So many unintentional connections. That's how it happens, right? Um, can't wait for XOTEMPO 2 where this guy gets a split line where he becomes a thirsty ghost sims to online. That's funny. The circles on the lips corners look like eyes. It could be. Oh, at a distance, kind of like what a Cobra hood has. This is the worst color palette I've ever seen, but in a good way. The pink lips, no. Make it look even weirder. It looks like that somebody had an early Dragon Ball villain. Oh, that's cool. It's actually hitting its backside? No. Mojo Jojo color palette? Almost. It kind of looks like a worm. Low key. What do you guys think? Do we like... Perfect. Convergent Arbok. I kind of miss the simplicity of this with the round shape. There is a lot of intention in here now with the urn shape. Not to put any work on your plate, but would you make this line have different forms based on how people died? Hunger's this one could be drowned. That would be really cool. Genuinely Cobra vibes, right? Yeah. That would be honestly peak. Oh wow. Thanks, guys. Do you guys... Oh, stretching time, thank you. Do you guys like this new one? I like this guy better. I'm looking at the first guy. As much as I like him, he is very simple. I wasn't a fan of the old one, but this is so much better. Really? I don't know what it is I'm kind of missing about the first one. He's an urn, he's a snake, he's hungry. It's true. I could say that he's like normally floating, but he's become so heavy eating that he's like dragging himself on the floor. I like both. Love the old guy, but this one's an improvement. Wow. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better. I'm going to try a few other kind of color permutations. I want to try one where maybe I go inverted like that. And then... Oop. This one looks kind of sickening too. Which is funny, right? Like, how does that work? Oh, you know what? I kind of like the idea of blue lips, because blue lips is like when your mouth goes purple, like when you're sick and dying. Like, there's kind of a connection there. Wow, that looks nice too. Like the purpley color. This really looks caustic. dark green tongue. I think I don't want the dark green only because we already have so much green. It's not bad. Instead of on the ground, he floats in the ground, so his head and the tip of his tail. It's some speckles. Give some like bruises. Blue lips are superior. I actually like both as well. Old one looks like it can float. It didn't eat, and the new one looks like it ate a lot now on the ground. Exactly. What I might do is like do a few more tests and see if I can find like a nice middle ground. Um, but this is fun to see. Pink lips are good too. I do like the blue lips a lot. I don't know why. It just feels very playful. But like it doesn't it actually makes the green boogery yellow just feel very gross. Here's like the more green, but I kind of like the yellow. Honestly, I think this is the best bet. There's still red on the tongue. Bah! I like this one with the pink lips and the blue tongue. I actually really like what the green looks like on the lips. It may not have enough contrast, but it's cool. I love that blue. Where do we like the blue, chat? Hold on. I'm trying out a few things. That does look nice. I don't love it for the final. Ooh. This makes him look a little more sickly, which I like. I think that's it. I think I landed it perfectly the first time. I want to try something where I do yellow teeth, yellow eyes. I don't like the yellow teeth, but I low-key really like yellow eyes. You know what? I might even take that color and bring it here for the eyes. Like the turban colors. Honestly, wait. I kind of like the yellow teeth too. The white feel like a little too... Unless I go with a more... like a grayish white rather than... So you can't go 100% white. And then you know you got to do the Bonny John special highlight. Oh my god, the eyes, the highlights give so much life. Um, you just got to make shinies. Yeah, that's true. Honestly, the shinies would really do it, you know? What about blue with a yellow tongue that looks like it's covered in plaque? Oh, don't make me throw up, Gwinty. Are there going to be shiny? Yes, there will be. I don't think I can use remix. It could be. I gotta figure out what it's going to be. Red lips stand out from the green body. Yeah, and the darker purple tongue suggests the problem wall goes deeper. Maybe blue lips as a shiny. You're calling your version remasters. No, I wanted to do remix. I really wanted to do remix. I just like a certain. It looks like a certain appendage. What? Remix shiny should just be some sort of formal skin. Ew, skin tone. Yellow teeth might look more fitting with the purple mouth. Low key, right? I kind of want to reuse the color I have at the top. It's an off-white, and it could also even suggest black or dirty. Honestly, I kind of like it like that. And maybe it won't be the same. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Dookie brown shiny. True black and red, yellow teeth. Worried that the yellow eyes and teeth may blend in a little with the green. Yeah, I mean, I have the white eyes now, and I've brought the teeth color to this color, and it's still far away that there's enough contrast. So I think that looks good. Next, the only thing is, I kind of want to fill in the X now that I've kind of drawn it out. I could make it red. Or I could do, again, we could fill it like that. Or I just make it very simple. And either I literally just draw the X. Or I could even do like an incision like that. Maybe I just draw the X. Oh my god, what if I did something like this and he's got like this Buzz Lightyear mega chin with the double chin? Nope, nope. All right, I'm going to leave it like this. I quite like this. I quite like this. I do think the design did elevate itself, which is nice. Okay. Resembles more a belly button than line. Ew, no more chins. A cowlick of lint. Ew. Drawn X. I think the regular Drawn X looks best. I agree with Rosalinda. I totally have this guy on my team. Yeah. It's funny to wait it out. Yeah, honestly, I like that's why I'm choosing to, design him on stream where to me, like, I think this guy is going to be like I kind of liken him to a Gengar Wobbuffet type of character, like very comic relief in the anime. Like I think he's certainly got enough of a personality to really help him carry like how do I word it? Not the sections he's in, but like when he appears, like I think people will really gravitate towards him. He's so simple and offers a lot of fun. Cosplay of Boba Fett crossed with Buzz Lightyear? That sounds lit. Alright, let's go ahead and I'm gonna merge down. Alright, let's kind of just see how cool is this. We can kind of see the differences now. Guys, it's already 2 hours in, and these are like such simple XOTEMPO. So, I don't want to take another 2 hours to complete the jelly guys. But let's see what happens. I was going to go to the gym after this, but we'll see if there's time. So, wow. So you can tell, obviously, outside of just like the line art and the deliberate level of like cleanliness, like what a difference, right? I think the top one, it will need to be fire, and then it billows into smoke. I like that he goes from empty forehead to full belly. Yeah, low key, right? Um, I'm so proud. I like the burn textures on the old. Yeah, there's still plenty of stuff I can do. Um, there's gonna be more life once I figure out how I'm gonna do the paint or a lot of um, the first forms, you know, with the wooden helmet. But man, intentionality, baby. 1 year progress. Man, remember how far we've come. Where people are like, Bon, you should do your own Pokemon region. What are you gonna do after Dex Neo? What region are you gonna do? And then I'm like, oh, you know, might do my own thing. Monsters, monsters, monsters. And then a whole summer goes by and I design a lot for that world. And I'm so glad I delivered because I did say I was gonna do it, right? And I designed legendaries, characters, did a lot of world building, really set so much in stone. And I'm so proud because it's not like, and no offense to anyone who does Pokemon regions, that's the lifeblood of the community that I came up in. But I'm glad I can nurture something, you know. The Tempo Pokemon region, gang. I do like the old version's teeth, but the smaller teeth in the new one helps the lips be more expressive. Yeah, like I find that, you know, when I'm doing these revisions, I have to think more logically, if that makes sense, right? As like fun as they are, it's very like Steve Harvey-esque in that like it is so unwieldy, you know? Um, and it almost like takes too much space and kind of gets away from the point, which is the maw. Now it's got, you know, a better balance. Right? Even with the mouth extending out, how does that feasibly track on the body? So, I drew a bat today. Nice. Inspired my own creature card. Let's go. Share that stuff in the Discord that we have, you know? Everyone, I think it's important that everyone hold themselves accountable with each other. Vaughn, one of the teeth is still white. Vaughn! This is the one that he brushed. His teeth are so, it's so much to manage. So, I mean, you have to give him some props. Oh, so you see, like, what I'll do when I reline this, why does this teeth come all the way out, but this one isn't? So it'll be something like that, you know? Man, part of me wants to give him buck teeth. Oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, why does that give him so much more personality? He brushed his tooth. I kind of like the one off-colored one. It's cute, but it would not be good for the big picture. You should all make original creature guide, have them fight to the death. I can't wait to see these guys in a proper XOTEMPO game. Feels so satisfying watching this. Hell yeah. Grandma Ghost Snake. Grandma! Buck teeth and make the fangs bigger. I might. I might. I'll say this. Again, I can't promise that it will be one thing or this thing or that thing. I can only promise you banger designs, and that I am putting my best foot forward to making a pitch Bible. You know, um, I'll be very camera zoom time. Chicken jockey, we set up. The thing is, this shirt, it looks like there's mad lint on it, but it's clean. Okay. It made him dorky. I might have to like clean it up and make him look a little sharper. Um, I'll be very honest, as we're now 2 hours into the stream. Oh my god, we gotta go speed mode um on the remaining two designs. So Uncle Ghost Slug, Banger Designs, hell yeah. So what I'm gonna say, I'll show you guys. I got my Persona 5 vinyl. I had to open it. I've been listening to P4 on the thing. So slime time. We will. With Little White Designs. I liked it at the time. And now I'm like, every time I feel bangers and excellence, a crazy declaration, I only make crazy declarations. Something about the new buck teeth giving it real sinister. Yeah. Bond puts the so XOTEMPO, right? It's come a long way. And truth be told, I don't know what it's going to be. Like, in my heart of hearts, I want it to be an anime, which is like such a tall ask, right? Like, it almost feels like being an indie game is more realistic. Which, no matter what it is, whatever endeavor I push it towards, it will be something that takes a lot of time, energy, love, and a scope that I can't even begin to imagine, right? I'm just one artist, one creator who's just very passionate. But I also want to talk about time and what I'm going to be putting my energy into, because first and foremost, David Boy is the brand, right? There you go. So why not both? Because the powers that be are a thing, right? Luck, timing, money. I'm working on David Boy stuff right now, my own fashion slash merch brand, which I've kind of shown you guys some stuff. I'll be working on XOTEMPO on stream full time. Like, that's my summer of XOTEMPO promise, like I did last summer. But fingers crossed, I'm still waiting on my master's application for college here at UCF. And what that means is, come the fall time, if I get this acceptance letter soon, when I get this acceptance letter soon, a master's degree is going to be a very time consuming and like, I'm not going to be streaming as much if I make it into this program. Like, that's going to be my focus, right? It's an MFA, a Master of Fine Arts in Studio Art. And as you guys know, with my vision impairment, I have my cane now I travel at night with. And more and more about my art is I want to make sure I leave lasting legacies, right? That's why XOTEMPO is important to me, because it's my love letter to monster tamers that I grew up with, right? That we all love and whatnot. But with David Boy, right? That's my brand, my character, and my sensibilities that I'm putting on shirts and totes and hats and things like that. That's another legacy thing I can leave behind. And then with this MFA, utilizing a platform like Fine Art gives me a chance to enter yet another domain that would be an altogether different area, right? Fine art, fashion, or like personal brand, and then like video game anime, right? So what I'm trying to say is like I never want to promise XOTEMPO as like I know it's going to be something. I just don't know what. Or like that's why like I put my all into my designs, because when I can pitch this, people can be like, "Wow, this guy is good. He loves what he does. You can tell it in his work. He's done the heavy lifting for us. Okay, let's give him the money for a team or this or that or whatever it is." What I'm trying to say is though, like once I get into this MFA and that becomes a reality, I'm not going to stream as much. I figure I might as well say that because I think I'll be hearing back from the college very soon. And I kind of want to like just be upfront about it. And that's why I want to really enjoy the summer of XOTEMPO with you guys, So it's kind of a somber little announcement because I'm very excited to see what like the future holds. And I have a lot of things stewing right now, It's very exciting. That's why we got to really enjoy the summer of XOTEMPO. I want it as a game. I want it as an anime. I want it as a card game, a tabletop. I want to see marketable plushies, So, summer but exciting. Exactly. So, I'll figure out what the streaming and all that stuff might look like, my online presence, Let me catch up with a lot of these comments. I wasn't really looking at it. I have like 3 of those speckled shirts. Why not both is the question. XOTEMPO could feasibly make a great tabletop. Absolutely. That seems like the most... I can't wait for my hair to grow back so I can actually take my hat off, which I don't mind keeping in the house. But that seems like the most feasible thing it could be. Or even a card game. Being an anime would be difficult since you live in America. Doing a bit. No worries. Fingers crossed. Gotta go take care of Rosa. Hope you succeed. Thanks, Draco. Fashion brand. Oh my god, I would wear the Bonny drip every day until it stinks. Put your clothes in the wash. You have a lasting legacy? That's so sweet. I'm grateful for the moments. Hell yeah, me too. We want you to succeed. Pants Fleshy confirmed. There's still the Discord. Absolutely. Absolutely. But anyway, I figured I'd mention that. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to, of course, just give it my all. We have, let's go back here. Even beyond these guys, right? I might add more XOTEMPO that I want to update and fix up and whatnot. I might be, again, designing, lining up characters. I might do cool little things like, why not do cool art of like XOTEMPO fighting? May XOTEMPO be a major success? Absolutely. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. I could do cool illustrations on stream, right? Of like the orca fighting the tree guy or Canopeak. Cool things like that. Because it's been a wonderful creative experience. And that's the thing. I appreciate that regardless. By the powers that be, like, I genuinely believe, like, with all my heart, that this is... How do I word this without sounding so full of myself? I've not put anything but my all into this. Why would I not believe it couldn't go all the way? Why would any of this... I'm not doing this just for the content, right? You guys know how much I hate that word, content. So I have to really... exactly, it's definitely going to be... I mean, look at this. Even just looking at these two, look at the fidelity, and they're not even properly finished. Like, there's something special here. The world is going to know XOTEMPO. My magnum opus. My magnum opus could be any number of things. I could never call it like the great Bambino called this shot all those years ago. Maybe XOTEMPO becomes a thing. Maybe Deva Boy becomes a thing. Maybe my fine art becomes a thing. No matter what it is, especially in the face of AI, especially in you know, with this vision impairment that I have that's kind of slowed down my life, but I've taken it back. I'm gonna be something. You guys will know my name. You guys are gonna be my day one people. You know, like you guys are gonna see all this stuff. I promise. I'm gonna do it. It's not like for me, even with XOTEMPO, it's like it's not even just for me anymore, right? Like at the end of the day, if I want to do it for my ego or my pride, like, oh, I did this, blah blah blah. What fun is it if I'm not sharing it with people, right? I think the most important art you make, it is for you. If you don't think about who the audience is for, if it intrinsically makes you excited or inspired, it tells your story, whatever, perfect. But like then it's not really art if it just lives for you to stare at. It can be. We can all have that kind of art, but especially if I'm a social streamer, right? This project is like, it's so weird to think about my entire life I've drawn at a computer or at a table by myself. And at most at school, kids stand over your shoulder. What are you drawing? Wow, you're a good artist. This is different, right? Being on the internet and you guys are rooting for me and cheering me on and stuff. It's cool. You ever need pixel art? Yeah, we got to tell the community of you guys. I know that. Passion drive. Exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I don't know what the future holds. I have to remain optimistic and believe that I'm gonna be accepted into this program, and that could really change the way streaming looks for me. Because I'd probably be moving. I'd probably be working, obviously, on this MFA full time, 3 years. Probably to be working part time as well, because you got to survive in this world, right? So we'll get there when we get there, right? I better get a review code. All right, let's get it. Enough somber, you know, slime. How do we jump into this without being like sentimental? Fortunately, these guys I don't think are really going to be super hard. So I really love this design because it's very simple, obviously. It's a slime, and then he evolves into a gelatinous cube. What else do you really need to say? So I do want to try some different hair variants, and it could be, you know what, chat? We were talking about earlier. Oh, either his name is going to be Goobert or Slyman, like Simon but slime. Um, what if I did that each region, Slyman, like a different lineage of Slyman show up? Oh, a bowl of jelly? Yum. Let me show you guys the updated ancestries because I bumped up the colors quite a bit. So now off rip, red, blue, green, black, purple, and yellow. You can kind of gauge. People will assume naturally, you can't avoid that in these kind of video games. They're gonna be like, red is fire, green is grass, you know, blue is water, purple is psychic, whatever. It's kind of like that, but not really. But it was important to really let each icon kind of live in its own space. But you can see I really bumped up the colors quite a bit. Like, for example, the biggest thing here is Cryptic is like far more blue. Because I didn't want a lot of crossover of colors because at the end of the day, when you play this game, even at a distance, if you see the square, the stamp of the lineage, you should know what it is. And therefore, if you have multiple colors of one thing, then it's not going to like be readily understood. You know what I mean? So caustic, I also defined what the eventual faces are going to be, and it just made sense. Caustic, agony. Typic will be smiling. Lithic will be stoic. Cryptic will be rage. Gothic is peaceful. Runic is laughing. I could also see myself making Cryptic laughing, like you know, he's like laughing at you from the distance because you can't track it. But I almost like Runic laughing as if not to make fun of you, but it is enjoying the power of the gods, right? Like they're the most blessed, having the elemental powers. And then mythic is ethereal, biblical angel. Cryptic's my favorite, yeah. Um, I can't wait to like update the faces for these, and like already what's cool is like at the distance, even outside of their color choices. Thank you, Draco. Put me in the Slimans the name gang. Um, I like that one, the colors are very distinct, so you can quickly kind of see, and it still really tracks, right? Caustic being like decay, like black sinking into the unknown of the earth, dying, right? Typic, blood red vigor of mankind, muscle, right? You're the typical attacks, slashing, biting, kicking, tail whip, whatever. Caustic will be as it sounds like a lot of debuff moves. Lithic. Lithic is of the earth, so it's like the grass and the stone there, right? Stoic face, like the stoic mountain, stoic volcano. Those are going to be your nature's wrath kind of moves, right? A lot of like vine whip, earthquake, rock slide, things like that, right? Cryptic. These moves, these are going to be, I could see these being a lot of like moves like fly, dig, like moves that take turn, hiding, waiting, maybe like really cheeky kind of attacks, right? Like if caustic could be like true debuffs, I think cryptic will be attacking and like maybe not the strongest attacks, but like leaving debuffs as well. Gothic, obviously your psychic, your astral, your cosmic, maybe even like fairy kind of power is in there. Um, it'll be a powerful type. Maybe there'll be moves in here that uh, give you great evasive abilities, right? Maybe it's more like the buffing kind of moves, whereas caustic is debuff. And then runic is your elemental attacks, your flamethrowers, your water guns, your thunderbolts, things of that nature, right? Um, mythic, again, the mythic family is the rarest lineage. Compagni will be your first mythic. You don't even need to catch him. Um, if anyone knows her name, there's no chance in hell anyone would know her name, which is fine. But she is going to be mythic as well. You have other mythics in this game. And we'll leave it at that. If anyone, actually, I'll just tell you the name, right, of that water god. It's Waave. WAA. Not apostrophe. Is it? Yeah, apostrophe. AVEI. Susan Terapagos. I see Cryptic is having good utility moves like Sucker. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's not to say the other moves won't have those things. Like, other families can learn each other's lineages, but you're not going to have stab and stuff like that, right? It's just like Pokemon. Okay, let's get back to Sliman, aka Goobert. I'm just curious. I'm not going to, like, confirm if the name will be this, that, or the other. I'm just curious to see where you guys are at. What is this slime's name? Slime. All right, answer chat. Answer this very incredibly important question. After you vote, make sure you check and see if you like the stream for me. Okay. I want to try a different hairstyle for him that I think would look really cute. This one I think is uber cute, do not get me wrong. But again, the point of like doing a lot of these lines is I want to see what ground I'm missing, right? Like, I want to cover all ground. Another thing I got to figure out. So, for example, this guy has these very cartoony eyes, right? Where it's not like quite split down the middle. I don't know if that is something that I'm going to consider. Like, it could very well be cartoony, or it could be more realistic if I had it split. That's part of what I'm trying to learn here as a creative, like designing much of this world. So realize it should probably be like that. Maybe I keep it more simple. And I just go 1. Creates like a tangent line, right? I'll do it right here. Okay. See, that's the kind of stuff I got to figure out. Okay. Oh, we're on 8 votes. Do we only have 8 viewers now? It's been going on a while, right? Okay, I'm going to close up the poll. It's 50-50. Slyman and Goobert. Both are good names. Jelliana. 30 likes and 15 peeps here. Good job, gang. Let's get it up. I think Slyman is a better name. Yes, Slyman because it's the actual slime. What do we do? Slyman also sounds like slime on. Like, flame on. Okay, let's see. Since this guy's got the one eye. One eye open when you're sleeping. One eye. He's gonna have to have for contrast too, and like consistency. So what I'm gonna do, and this is the power of lines, I'm going to have it so that the lines don't fully intersect. Like, it's jelly, so it's kind of like sticking to each other, or slime, or whatever you want to say. You know? So if you do something like this, it makes it all feel very interconnected. Another thing I could do is I could just simply have this guy come in like several different flavors. You know? He could literally just like an orange color, a green color, a blue color, and maybe for the shiny it's just a different texture. Maybe it's not as reflective or something. Because I do want to have the shinies be a little more elevated than Pokemon. You know? Um, is he edible? Absolutely not. Maybe vary the size of the hair rather than all of them being the same size. Different hairstyles for each flavor, and one needs to have a mohawk or some crazy. I already have like a kind of sweeping here with the three. Um, I will say I might be adding more green to this design just to like infer he'll get green, but also there is so much orange, you know? Like it could be green in the bottom half maybe. Um it could be like this thing has like a green tuft at the top. I want to do like that, and then I kind of want to do like a green top knot. I don't know if that'd be cute. Or hell, even like a green bun like that. Like a ponytail. No, you know what? Already I can tell. I think this is already kind of peak. If I did... It might just make it too busy, right? If I did like a ponytail or a bun kind of thing. I think I am going to just make them a bit shorter and more closer to the ground. I think I like that. And that's like another thing that I've been really conscious about. Like you're gonna see the shape language go crazy. You know? That's the kind of stuff you'll learn over a year. This guy almost looks like the flapjack octopus. What is the flapjack octopus? Um, does he look cute? Yeah, he does. Right? I like his emo hair. Does he? I don't know if he needs that fourth little tuft. Actually, he might. Very cute octopus that's built like a marketable plush. Oh, I know what you mean. The one that you flip inside out, right? For some reason, I was thinking the Flapjack TV show. I know that was a nautical show, so I thought you were like referring to that, and I'm like, I don't think that's. Okay, simple changes, but you see the difference. I think is pretty big. He's a lot more compact. What do you guys think? This one I like. And even though he's compact, he's still, you know, cute. But this one, I feel like the treatment feels like there's even more movement. Nice. Okay. Oops. Now, do I want to color him orange? Like all the way orange? I like the orange, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a nod to Nickelodeon. Like, he will give you a thumbs up with his hair or flip you off. That's funny. Hmm. Do I just keep it orange? It's a very simple design. I mean, when you think about it, Ditto, a similar kind of creature, is just straight orange. You know? I see slime having a lot of different third shade. Yeah, 100%. I think what I'd rather do is probably create brand new slimes for each new slime-based monster that I picture up. I feel like I'd rather do that rather than give one creature all the love. On the one hand, what you're describing, there is something fun about that, especially in the Pokemon world, like an Eevee situation, where it shows how adaptable it is. So that's also possible. But I think what I would rather do is, so maybe the base forms all look very similar, but then they wildly change. It could be something like that. Because, give me some ideas, Draco and chat, of what other slime monsters there are. I know, was it the Oblex in D&D? I don't know what exactly it looks like. I used to. I know it's some sort of eldritch horror, I want to say. Oblex. There's a ton of gelatinous creatures I could do. Slimeon? There's a whole ooze creature type. Do jellyfish count as slime? I say they do. Not in the context I'm thinking. I'm thinking like what like a jellyfish, not a jellyfish, sorry, now you got me saying it. What this guy could evolve into, right? So for example, I went with the gelatinous cube. I won't, to protect myself, inspired by the gelatinous cube. You know what? I will keep it like searing black. Void black. Like you cannot see. Um, okay. Since you can't blood and guts, how about gelatinous abomination No, I wouldn't want to do specific pop culture characters, to be honest. And like, while it's true, like there are some levels to it that I would do. Um, I don't think I would do that. And I'm not against blood and guts. Like I would like tackle them in a new way, right? So for example, um when you have something like um the Manungano, right? The entrails, instead of that being blood, I made it jam, right? Um there's ways to get around it. So it would have to be like very iconic. And I'm not saying Resident Evil 2's thing isn't iconic, but like I want it to be all like equal footing, if that makes sense. There's got to be way more gelatinous baddies and stuff. Because I feel like there was a ton when I was doing research and we were all talking about it last year. Oh, this guy feels so much cuter. It's so crazy. Because it's not like... He's pretty cute here. But like... finishing touches and whatnot really go such a long way, right? Sorry if I'm quiet. It's that time of the stream where it's like, yeah, we're coming on to 3 hours in. Okay. Actually, why does that feel a little creepy? Maybe... Why does this kind of remind me of Sentry from Thunderbolts? Because the blonde hair, maybe? And the innocence? Okay. That still looks kind of creepy to me. Tar is an option as well, or oil. Oh, like, okay, I see tar oil. A pollution monster like Hedora. Could be. That could be. I don't think it would be a gelatin creature though. I'd love to see a jellyfish-inspired slimes or tempo, or maybe a bunch of smaller slimes that get stuck together like a rat king. So first of all, that's funny you say that because I I do have the plan and execution for how the rat king will be in the next game, in a part 2. But again, I said this a lot last year. I really don't love to talk about. You see how I'm like blocking out my hair? You can see how short it is. Um, I don't want to talk about a part 2 because I don't want to promise something that I haven't even finished the first part for. But I know how I would do a rat king, and I do have a slime or a jellyfish XOTEMPO planned as well. And it's really cool. And now for the night, take care, Red Claw. Yes, please, chat. Make sure you work on your. You know what? I'm gonna go into the Discord and say this right now. Make sure it's halfway through the month. We're halfway through the month. make sure you guys are working on your mermaid prompts. Okay. I love since you're so good and I expecting. Yeah, exactly. They did such a great job. I think it needs a big round pupil. I think you're right, Andy. I think that's what it is. A potential part two. I know, but even saying that feels like a little disingenuous because I haven't finished this. But yeah, that's probably what I mean. What are the specifics? So if you enter the Discord, you'll see the exact breakdown of how I try to run these events. But hold on. Um, hold on. One sec. Okay. I thought of another slime-ass creature was pop culture, the rot from Rain World. I have not watched Rain World. But yeah, mermaid, what I'm challenging you guys to do in my mermaid prompt is to take a existing Pokemon and turn them into a mermaid. As simple as that sounds. Basically, yeah, you know what? I was thinking the eyes all have to be consistent. That might not always be feasible. I think this will look a lot more cute. For some reason, it seems to be fine here, but he doesn't have the pupil thing. So, for example, someone in our server in the Discord or the chat, Zach, he chose Charizard of all Pokemon and made Charizard into a mermaid. I chose to do Primarina because I had done a long time back I was making like a past Paradox version. And I decided to bring that back. So take an existing Pokemon and just mermaidify it. It's a fun prompt. It gets really challenging if you're not choosing water types. Should he have eyes like this? That looks creepy, but also cute. Hold on, do I still give him the slit? Well, that looks kind of cute. Because if that part can be consistent, that's not bad. Okay. The Fallen God Warrior slime monster thing? No, that's a little too... If I were to do anything from Ghibli, it would probably be No Face as the nod. I think No Face is so iconic. But maybe too iconic that it would look too one-to-one. I don't know. It's a tough one. You should say it's 100% happening, but I don't want you to treat it like a non-starter. Have some faith. Yeah, XOTEMPO is happening one way or another. XOTEMPO 2. Maybe the eye facing down like it's too shy, especially with that slime hair to give it some personality. Rainworld's a Hollow Knight-esque game where you're basically at the bottom food chain. Living Tar Slimer, they use bones from... Oh, I've seen some Fakeamon concepts like that, Draco. It just needs something to brighten up the eye, like the highlights. Yeah, making a mermaid into a mermaid sounds kind of cheaty. Is that what I said? Mix of creepy and cute is a good fit. Yeah. You know what? It's also the fact that its eye is like so sunken in. Let me maybe brighten up. That already does look a little cuter. Hell, you know, at the same time, I feel like just removing this part. Oh, that looks scary. With the tiny little. Oh, Lord. He's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you. I feel like as a... Well, that does look cute. Oh, what if I did this, chat? Hold on, hold on, hold on. I got a cute idea. What if I made it like really like even his eye is kind of like not slippery, what's the word? Talking about personality. Or is that too much? That's kind of cute. Right? Anime. Yeah, you know what? I think maybe I do that. And then I'm going to look up anime eye. Cute slime. Yeah, I think it's something like that, right? Where Molten Marshmallow Man, the Globster, Raramon. Very cute. Yeah, why don't we make him a big crybaby? Because he's only got the one. What do you think? Make him sad? I don't want to make him too painfully... Like, he's just a slime, you know, he's just like, very impressionable. Hold on. I kind of like this thing. No, I don't. Honestly, I feel like that really works. I think it's like a really fitting shape for a blob. Yeah, he's just an eepy little guy. Wishy-washy's best friend. Oh! That's why it was familiar. Make the yellow wavy as well. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's cute. It's so funny how that Stay Puft Marshmallow Slimer. I think that really works for me. What do y'all think? Okay. We're now 3 hours in. Oh, Lord. To be fair, I have 4 designs to do. You know? I'm going to leave him there. I think he's looking pretty good to me. let's do this last guy. So very simply, it's not hard to see, you know, this is a slime and this is a gelatinous cube. Um, I'm going to just kind of jump right into it. I think this is one of my most successful designs as far as simplicity. Like, actually, I'm sorry. Before I jump in, let's take a look at the design. So you have this fun moment where a lot of the orange survives in the design by being the tongue. And so that's what that texture is. And then the outside is very gelatinous. You've got like the kind of singular eye evolves into the what is this? Uvula? What would you call the thing? So it acts, you know, like an organ of what it represents in the mouth, but also the eye. Um, it's got the teeth. Something that I am switching up from the design, as you can see, the original base was something like this, which I like. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of like the idea of it being an even more skinnier kind of puddle upholding everything. There's something really cool about how lopsided that design is now. You know? A lot of big mouths. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because, like, they're almost like, it feels like two sides of the same cryptid coin. Ghost, slime, you know, like, they've got a similar energy. Hell, even similar color palette. Orange, very orange and warm, then green and very green. That's unintentional, but I digress. So I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are about these designs. Um, Again, I feel very, very content with these designs. So we're just going to move forward with lining. There are obviously plenty of cleanup spots I have in mind. Again, thinking very logistically, like trying to flesh out this model. Um, Ideally, I give this guy like a dark green kind of outline. That'll even add more to the gelatinous kind of feel. Um, One sec. Whew. I heard something and I'm like, home invasion? Who's about to catch these hands? But it was nothing. Do you have your old XOTEMPO streams? I do. They're way back, like last year around this time. So you can look through a lot of those to learn more or see the glow up of many designs, or you know, even just to hear the old designs, because much of it is not, you know, going to be the same. To be very honest, like the whole point of design is to, you know, kind of learn and move from there, you know? So much of the nothing is ever confirmed on these streams, okay? Just pants break into your cookie jar? No! Take care, Joe. Be well, be well. I heard something and I immediately sprang up, as you guys saw. Turns out, so there have been like some flies around, and so we have like this kind of what would you call it, like this fluorescent like light zapper, and it just cracked, and like for some reason I just thought it was like a door opening or something, and like I just got up. Set me off. Slime time indeed. Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up very soon. I did not expect to go this long, but I had 4 designs, and it's just a lot of learning. A lot of learning as I go. The first 30 minutes I was going over yesterday's ancestries. I was going over what else? Oh, I was asking whether or not I should keep the helmets or the masks for the first forms. I expect to make it in. Glad to have you. Bug Zappers XOTEMPO confirmed. I'm going to... Yeah, I'll do something like that. Okay. That's looking pretty good to me. And even though this design's very simple, I think it's still got a lot of charm, which is very exciting. That's a fun thing about character design. Also, I noticed like a good chunk of my cryptids XOTEMPO don't have eyes. I forgot who it was last year that noted this, but someone last year was like, Bon, a lot of your XOTEMPO don't have eyes. And it was interesting because, for one, I've been living with retinitis pigmentosa for a while. But only last year, the doctors raised it from moderate to severe. And so, I guess I've always had a thing with like eyes in my design and whatnot. I wonder if that's always kind of like something that's just kind of crept in the background of my design sensibilities. You know? Okay. I don't know. What do you guys think about this base? It's feeling a little too gooey, while the top half is very... obviously gelatinous. What's up, Austral? Welcome in, welcome in. Maybe make the tongue wavy like the eye in the other guy. It could be. That could be the case. Just because it kind of shows the connective tissue, right? But also it could be that, he used to be a little shy guy, but now he's this big thing and everyone's like, you should be afraid of me now. There is something cute about that. Connective tissue is important. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. It's not a bad suggestion in the slightest. Always happy to hear your guys' suggestions, takes, etc. This one, I kind of like the helmets, but I'd have to see the alternative. Yeah, ultimately, like, it comes down to preserving not only the designs, but like the philosophy of the designs. You know, I always knew XOTEMPO, it's just me being me, but like I always wanted like an X factor. Like, how do I make sure my thing isn't like Digimon, isn't like Pokemon? Like, what's the thing that sets me apart? Because obviously there's going to be many connective tissue, evolution being one of them, and capture devices, chosen ones, whatever it is, those kind of things always follow you. He looks like he would slay side to side, right? Yeah, I like that too. You know what I'll do is I'm going to get rid of this thing. I'm going to still make it very Jello-like, where it... Right now I have it look where it's like wavy, but if it's intentional, it could still be like Jello. But that's exactly right. He's able to like wiggle like Jello, you know, on his like pedestal. I like it because the top part is so bouncy, with the bottom still creating interest in the silhouette with a top heavy design, but it looks like it's got the fulcrum or the locomotion to be able to like still move in place, which I think is a really nice balance. You know? Let's go ahead and color this guy, and then we'll call it a day. I don't think I'm going to go to the gym because it's 8:22 now. It'll probably be kind of late if I were to go. I'll just probably go first thing in the morning. I'm going to kind of take it easy, because I did have a long day today. But it was a very fun day. I'll say that. What do you guys have planned for the weekend? I want to know. I don't think I'm doing anything. I kind of want to treat myself to Chinese, chat. Some Chinese food. I do love the colors in this one, because while the green is incredibly dominating, the innards still has so much color going on, which really give it a lot of life. Because obviously this is like gelatinous cube adjacent, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, I still want to give my own spin on certain classic monster tropes and designs. Fuck. Work? Maybe homework if I can get an extension? Good luck. He just flattens. He's on a jelly pivot. I can imagine him throwing all his weight forward in a slam attack and collapsing into a puddle. That's cool. You know, this is definitely a design that would absolutely have a lot of, what's the word? Hold on. I'm going to do, yeah, I think I do like the darker red. Yeah, it's going to be that. There's definitely so much potential here as far as animation goes, right? Oh, I'm hanging out with Verg again next week, which will be fun. I told her, I was like, people love your work. They want to see a YouTube channel. A jelly pivot? What would it look like if he closed his mouth? Would his lips stretch up too close, or would he flatten? I'm not sure. Masks still work, but with the whole breaking out of their shells theme, I feel like helmets work better. Absolutely. Um, breaking out of their shells, like that's one way to put it. Hiding behind a mask is a similar concept too. You know? So it's not entirely lost. I do like him with the more fierce eyes, I think. That is interesting. But obviously still plenty of stuff to figure out. I'm thinking, chat, like the obvious shiny is like reverting it, making the first guy green and this guy orange. I feel like that's the obvious thing. But to me, one of the classic Jellos, obviously green is a classic Jello, orange, but like red Jello, very classic. So I feel like a red shiny would look really dope. And it would also look like the Oblex. I think the Oblex is like a red goo. Right? Yummy. Now, I had things like bubbles and stuff here. That does make them feel a little more acidic or toxic. I think color gradation or something else would need to kind of be in this space. Blood jelly. Before Legendary confirmed, squash and stretch. Absolutely. So much squashing and stretching going on. Whoever wants to animate this. I'm going to a Mexican restaurant for Mother's Day and then visiting my goddaughter for her birthday. Nice. Cleaning and games. That's my break before another semester. All right. Enjoy that. Family event. Excited for it, but I'm already exhausted. I hear that. I have a D&D session at IDM. Hell yeah. Watermelon sugar. Slime. Hopefully finishing drawing for True Greens contest and for a zine piece. Nice. What's the zine? I wonder how you translate designs like Embu that are entirely their helmet into masks. Yeah, that's something I have been considering because there are XOTEMPO. Low-key, like, should I call this finished for now? I mean, low-key, right? Hold on. So obviously things like I'm going to do shading and things like that. Like normally I don't do for my Fakemon, I don't do shading like all the way. I usually give like highlights or texture and stuff, but I'll do stuff like to really elevate. This is my baby. Of course I'm going to go all the way for it, you know? So things like textures, all that stuff I can like further figure out. But I kind of quickly want to go over those XOTEMPO that have like full body. So in this case, this XOTEMPO, actually that's not even the best representation of it. It would be in this one. His helmet is inside of the twister. So you don't even see, you know, the face. I'd have to imagine maybe like the key animation, he's like faced forward, but when he attacks, he's like standing upright and spinning. But yeah, there are a number of XOTEMPO whose entire body, you have someone like Squonk, who he's so big that, you know, he doesn't fit in it, right? Conversely, somebody like this one, who's a mimic, his whole body is practically, you know. This one is a cute one where he's inside of the... you know what? I might have to bring these guys into the set too. Part of why I chose to put... Of the representatives, I had these two because they're so fun in their design. But I also really like these guys, the trash panda and the tanuki, because they're more like traditional animals. And I'm like, if I'm trying to show the visual diversity of my game, like, yeah, you have like dogs here, and like I want to show people like my evolution kind of looks more like Digimon than it does Pokemon, where you have a fish, a seal, and then an orca dog. And it kind of makes sense. It's like a fish and then a seal is a water dog, as it were, becomes a sea dog thingy. Like, you're kind of doing the math, right? Boy math or some shit. I don't know what the memes are these days. I'm old. But like having of the sets, like, here you have a dust bunny and a dust devil. You know what I mean? Like, I'm showing the levels to XOTEMPO. So you have some animals, and then you have like more animals here. You have the fantastic, and then you have in this one, I'm like, oh, so some XOTEMPO are peaceful. Some want to crush everything. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so to answer that question, there are a number of XOTEMPO who are fully hidden by their helmets. Um, and that does create, again, even more mystery. So I think I will keep mostly the helmet kind of thingy. Um, because again, I knew I needed an X factor because I want my game to stick out. Like, I want my designs to mean something. Like, you should be able to, if you put Digimon, Pokemon, and XOTEMPO, I did my job if you guys could pick the XOTEMPO out of the batch. And by seeing like, oh, who are these like wooden guys, right? And you're like, oh, that's XOTEMPO. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. I did my job as a designer. You know? There's like so much personality on display here. And that's a pretty huge success, you know? Um Delicious. Now I just have the song stuck in my head. Watermelon sugar. Slime. I kind of want to animate him. Hell yeah. Don't forget to drink, Bonnie. Thank you, Draco. I will. Slime looks great. Very good. Why does he give me old TV monitors? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm going to really render the shit out of this guy. This guy's going to look like you could eat him. All right? The rendering is going to take all of these designs to the next level. Big trust. I can imagine a fainting animation where he leans forward and his tongue falls out on the ground. Interesting. I would love to see him go like boom, 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 and then go like backwards, and like the tongue's like. I wasn't too excited about the big slime. All you've done is clean up, but the new version, yeah, hell yeah! I'm telling you, y'all, the levels that are going into all these designs is nothing short but my best. You know. Um, I want to be able to, as a designer, make you guys care about a freaking Jello cube. You know? So that's what success looks like to me. The Zine is a mutual of mine who's effectively paying a group of their artist friends. Oh, hell yeah. So cool. Boy math, abacus. I know what girl math is, and it's something like eating little food, I think. um, but gang, first 4 XOTEMPO of the Pitch Bible done. I'm so very excited. I mean, I think I still have to do, don't get me wrong, I still have to do a lot of cleanup here, but like, let's see. Let's compare these guys. So you can see the language of the house has really gotten a little more it's really fun. Whereas before it's just a simple, like almost like Chinese takeout container. I love Chinese, as I said, but even the fireball, and again, I'm not dissing my old art. Like, it is entirely what it needed to do, which is be the placeholder, right? Be the place where I explore what the design needs to be. The new Gourmand, he's got like a more appendagey, like intestine, like body trail in the back. His body looks more like an urn now. He like looks almost like a cobra, which is interesting. Um, he looks entirely more menacing, yet still a lovable goofball. Um, the new M booth, again, like the house shape is a lot more interesting. The fire, you know, is a lot more interesting with the extended limbs. Boy, does he have personality. He really looks like he's gonna sneak his way, you know. Team is still going. It certainly is. So very happy with this set. Next up from here, Sliman. And so the name I had originally for this guy, so we have Sliman versus Goobert. I do like Sliman. I like Goobert as well. Um, but I had this guy's name as Guzzulate, as in Guzz, Guzz, eight. It's not a great name. I don't know how I came up with it. Like, it's definitely not the final name. But oh, also just to show you guys the size, it would be something like this. So Sliman is probably about this big next to his dad, and Embu next to Gorma. Probably something like this. That's like the sizes. Just to give you guys like an idea. I'll have to figure out the name, but yeah, again, the idea is you want to still make a character like this be someone you enjoy, that you feel like you can make a connection to, and I want to leave a lot of room for animation as well, right? Again, you can really clearly see how he'd walk around. Guzzleton. This guy, you could see like him like going through the ground looking for food, right? Kind of like a slug. When he attacks, maybe he lifts himself in the air like a ghost, but he's so heavy he just kind of drops back down. But like you could see in his mouth, his eyes, the expression they can hold. This guy, look how cute he is. And then this guy, especially being on the wobbling pedestal. Oh my god, when he attacks. Right? Gotta head out? No worries. I'm about to call it here anyway. We're almost at 3.5 hours. Oh yeah, my hair is coming back. See how short it is, chat? Holy moly. I keep saying that every stream. I've never buzzed it down to the skin. Never in my life. So, probably going to take a bath tonight. You know what? I'm not even going to shower tonight. I'm going to have a bath and just relax. Soak my muscles. Bumpy, bye! Guys, I'm also going to call it. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them on the VOD. It helps the algorithm. If you haven't already, please make sure you leave a like. I'd love to hear what you guys think about these designs. I can't wait to see what's next. Yeah, I will figure it out. I will say it will probably be... I might just do 2 designs at a time. So it doesn't take as long as this. I could totally see... We might do 3 next time. We might do Compogni, the Dust Devil, and one of my personal favorites, the Dust Bunny. Tumbun is the name. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Alex. And then, like I said, we'll do about like 2 at a time, 3 at max. So, you know, we can give due respect to everyone's time. 4 is a lot to cover. So, okay. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for your support. I love and cherish you all. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for the kind words, the critiques, the suggestions. Taken. Alex, have a good one. Everyone have a good one. I will probably... That's my 3 streams of the week. I try to hit at least 3 with you guys. So I'll probably, obviously, start the next batch on Monday. I'll be recording a collab. Monday may not work because... I would be recording a collab earlier in the day, usually when I stream. Probably Tuesday. Potentially Wednesday. Thursday, maybe. Friday, I may not. I might have to start prepping for my show and do some stuff. We'll see. But yeah, may the pants be with you. I love it. Take care. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. This is Professor Bohdi, aka Bonny John, aka David Boy. David Boy, or rather, David Boy is the brand. Take care and